Live now to the Lok Sabha. Union Finance Minister ने replying to the budget proposals 2018.
Yes, please.
मोइली जी ने और 36 अन्य सदस्य जो इस विषय पे बोले हैं, मैं उनका आभार व्यक्त करता हूं कि देश की अर्थव्यवस्था को लेकर उन्होंने
ये कुर्सी को पीठ नहीं दिखा
अपनी टिप्पणी की है। कई माननीय सदस्यों ने बहुत सकारात्मक सुझाव भी दिए हैं।
आप ऐसे खड़े नहीं रह सकते हो, इधर चेयर की तरफ पीठ नहीं कर सकते हो, बाकी बात ठीक है।
तो उस वक्त बहुत विस्तृत तरीके से जैसे भारत की अर्थव्यवस्था की स्थिति बहुत चिंताजनक और गंभीर है, उन्होंने चित्र बनाने की कोशिश की। He painted a gloomy picture. He painted a picture that between 2004 and 2014, when the UPA government was in power, that is the real period when the Indian economy was doing well. You should remember that that was also partly a period till 2010, between 2003 and 2010, where there was a boom in the global economy. And when there is a boom in the global economy, there is a corresponding beneficial impact which takes place on a large number of world economies itself. Post-2010s, different kinds of slowdowns began. And therefore, obviously, we were also adversely affected. But notwithstanding that, the narrative which we inherited and the narrative which we have now created are entirely different. During the UPA, nobody spoke in terms of an Indian economy being the bright spot in the global economic picture.
Economic advisor praised it.
Nobody really mentioned that India, comparatively to the rest of the countries in the world, was the fastest growing. It's only happened now. Madam, there is a data can't be subjective. In 2014-15, 7.4% GDP growth was the highest in the world. 15-16, 8.2% GDP growth was the fastest growing in the world. In 16-17, 7.1% was the highest in the world. This year, what is anticipated at about 6.7%, the entire global debate is that will India miss the fastest growing by 0.1%? And next year the IMF, and it's not Mr. Saugat Roy or Mr. Khadke, it's the IMF which is the mother of all data.
According to you, you go by the IMF prescription.
They are globally regarded. They are globally regarded.
What is this? Everybody is laughing. And we
There
are
is-
suffering, you know. You are laughing.
And there is
Cutting jokes.
they again rate that next year onwards, next 2 years again India is rated to be the fastest among the global growing economies. Now your comments can't wipe off that reality because data speaks for itself. And you pick up any criteria. The honorable member from Telangana referred to India moving up on the ease of doing business rankings. There is still a great potential for us. The Prime Minister has said we must be amongst the first 50. From 142, we have come to 100. There are still areas, and I think I compliment her for making that point, which she did on agriculture. But even beyond agriculture, some of the areas where we are lagging behind, enforceability of contracts, land and municipal permissions, trading across customs, and therefore this facilitation, which has to take place between the center and the states jointly, if we make those necessary reforms, which we are now individually trying to make each one of them, I think there is a huge possibility of India moving up the rankings itself. It's no easy task that after 14 years India earns an upgrade. But then we are also conscious of the fact, Moily Saab, that whether it is agriculture or it is poverty alleviation or it is creating more employment, these are challenges. And these challenges have not arisen only in the last 4 years. There has been historical backwardness. There has been lack of policies in the past. And therefore, you've been in power for 55 years. Just introspect as to how much you contributed in either removing these problems or creating these problems. And therefore to say that after 4 years some of these challenges still remain. Madam, we had the capacity, I can't recollect between 2004 and 2014, a single structural reform of this kind being taken, the kind that we have undertaken in the Indian economy. And structural reforms may be of momentary difficulty, but in the long run and in the medium run, they bring huge dividends to the economy itself. स्वागत राय जी, जब आपकी पार्टी यूपीए का समर्थन कर रही थी तो फिस्कल डेफिसिट 6% से ज्यादा था। और फिस्कल डेफिसिट यानी कि सरकार उधार लेकर चल रही थी। और जब सरकार उस उधार की सीमा को पार कर देती है तो फिर वो आने वाली पीढ़ियों को ऋण में छोड़ के चली जाती है। जब हम सरकार में आए तब भी 4.5% था। हर वर्ष धीरे धीरे उसको 4.5 से 4.1, 4.1 से 3.9, 3.9 से 3.5। और इस साल हमारी कोशिश ये थी कि फिस्कल डेफिसिट 3.2 ले आए, लेकिन इस साल एक चुनौती थी और एक स्पष्ट चुनौती ये थी कि जो हर महीने का जीएसटी होता है वो अगले महीने के अंदर मिलता है और इसलिए एक महीने का राजस्व जीएसटी का कम था और उस एक महीने की वजह से एक आंकड़ों का, गणित का एक प्रभाव था जो पड़ा। इट्स ए स्टैटिस्टिकल डिफरेंस। लेकिन फिर भी जिसको फिस्कल प्रूडेंस, वित्तीय अनुशासन कहते हैं, हमारी सरकार ने पिछले 4 वर्षों में उस वित्तीय अनुशासन का पूर्ण रूप से पालन किया है और आने वाले वर्षों में हम करने वाले हैं। करेंसी स्टेबलाइजेशन, हमारी केवल मुद्रा का भंडार नहीं, उसको स्टेबलाइज रखना, और उसके साथ साथ आज जितने बड़े बड़े हम लोगों ने सुधार लाने की कोशिश की, उन सब के बाद भी फिर एक बार जो अर्ली इंडिकेशंस अब आ रहे हैं और जितने प्रकार के हैं, कोर सेक्टर ग्रोथ है, डिमांड है, एक्सपोर्ट्स है, पीएमआई डेटा है, इन्वेस्टमेंट है, उन सब के अंदर सुधार की परिस्थिति अब खड़ी होने दोबारा लग पड़ी है। अगर मैडम मैं एक एक करके विषय लूं, और मैं डिटेल में, मेरे आंध्र प्रदेश के मित्र हैं और ये सब जानते हैं, मुझे मिलते भी रहे हैं कि मेरी व्यक्तिगत सहानुभूति भी पूरी आंध्र प्रदेश बंटवारे के बाद जो स्थिति हुई उसके साथ है, इसलिए मैं पूरा डिटेल में उसको डील करूंगा। आप सिर्फ थोड़ा सा संयम रखें। जहां तक आधार का विषय आपने उठाया, हर साल जब से मैं छोटा था तब से हम लोग सुनते थे कि सब्सिडीज मस्ट बी रैशनलाइज्ड। जो सब्सिडी होती है वो गरीब के लिए होती है, वो समाज में जो लोग साधनों जिनके पास अधिक है उन लोगों के लिए नहीं है। ये यूपीए सरकार के दौरान पहले से एक आइडिया आता था कि एक आइडेंटिटी हर हिंदुस्तानी की हो, उसकी टेक्नोलॉजिकल शेप क्या हो, ये यूपीए सरकार के दौरान आरंभ हुई। और ऐसा लगता था कि उसको लेकर हम लोगों के मन में भी भ्रम था कि क्या ये नॉन सिटीजन्स को मिलेगा तो क्या इसका असर होगा। बाद में जब सरकार में हम लोग आए और प्रेजेंटेशन ली कि इसका प्रशासन में साधन बचाने में भी लाभ होगा और सब्सिडीज को टारगेट करने में भी लाभ होगा, एक इतने अच्छे विचार को जन्म देने के बाद उसको डिसोन कर देना, उसको चुनौती दे देना,
नहीं करे भाई, सब नहीं करे, लेकिन आपका तरीका ठीक नहीं होगा।
खड़गे साहब, you brought in, let me just explain to you, you brought in Aadhaar without the support of law. You could not have the law passed. You prepared a draft law, but the draft law said this is the procedure by which Aadhaar will be created. The law was silent as to for what purpose it will be used. It was absolutely silent on all the privacy requirements. Finally, when we re-looked at that law, we put in a full chapter as far as privacy is concerned. We are committed to that privacy. And while moving this bill in Parliament, I had an opportunity to move it, and I said that even though there is a debate in the Supreme Court whether privacy is a fundamental right or not, I personally believe that in the year 2015-16 it is too late in the day to say it is not a fundamental right. And therefore we have put in a full chapter on privacy. Not only the procedure, not only the iron walls which will be created around Aadhaar, but this is the purpose for which Aadhaar will be used. We specified in the law in detail itself. Now, I still am unable to reconcile as to those who initially floated the idea suddenly decided to disown it, even challenge it in the court. Take GST, for example. The kind of campaign you've carried out, and let me tell you, countries all over the world have taken, Moily Saab, years altogether to stabilize the GST. It is to the credit not only the central government but each and every state government that in India within a matter of months we were able to stabilize the GST. Every state government knows it is in its larger interest. Even your Congress governments, their finance ministers are privy to all the unanimous decisions that we take. We started rationalizing the rates. Within 3 months we started, and our object is, and let me clarify, that initially people felt that the 28% slab was too high a slab. Why was there a 28% slab? 55 साल तो आप सरकार में रहे हैं. ये वो स्लैब था जिसके लिए कमोडिटीज पे पहले अगर क्यूमुलेटिव इफेक्ट ले लिया जाए तो 31% ड्यूटी देनी पड़ती थी. उस 31 को 28 में डाला और 28 को धीरे धीरे करके जैसे रेवेन्यू कलेक्शन बढ़ रहा है उसको 18 और 12 में लेकर आ रहे हैं. और यही कारण है
18 तो पहले बोले थे कैप करो,
आपने सारी हम सरकार में आए तो आपने कहा 18 पे कैप करो। आप सरकार में थे तो 31% लेते थे, आप सरकार में थे तो 31% लेते थे। और ये भी जो तर्क आपने दिया ना 18 पे कैप करो, जो आपने अभी कहा, ये गलत तर्क है। कई ऐसे देश हैं जहां कोई बीपीएल की पॉपुलेशन नहीं है, बिलो पॉवर्टी लाइन नहीं है, और ये वो देश हैं, मैं हाल में सिंगापुर गया, वहां जीएसटी है, वहां हर खाने की चीज पे भी 7% है और मर्सिडीज गाड़ी पे भी 7% है। अब क्या हिंदुस्तान में जहां इतनी बीपीएल पॉपुलेशन है, जहां पॉपुलेशन डिस्पैरिटी है, वहां आम आदमी की चीज और लग्जरी गुड्स के ऊपर एक ही टैक्स लग सकता है क्या?
लेकिन इतना जल्दीबाजी क्या?
Yes, don't answer everybody, not necessary.
दादा, आप तो इतने वरिष्ठ हैं, आप इतने वरिष्ठ हैं कि आपसे ये प्रश्न सुनकर मैं हैरान हूं। अब आपने कहा ना इतनी जल्दी क्या था, कांग्रेस के लोगों ने भी कहा इट वॉज हेस्टली ब्रॉट। पश्चिम बंगाल और तृणमूल कांग्रेस तो हमेशा कहती थी जीएसटी लाओ। In 15 minutes, I'll come to Andhra Pradesh. Please wait. आप कहते थे,
एक दिन आपको भी आएंगे वो,
आप कहते थे जीएसटी लाओ। जो इसी सदन ने जीएसटी पास किया और जो लागू हुआ, वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन अमेंडमेंट लागू हुआ 16 सितंबर 2016 को। और उस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन अमेंडमेंट में जो श्री सौगत राय ने पास किया, उसमें लिखा कि पुराना कानून 1 साल तक चल सकता है। एक्सटेंड करने का सरकार को अधिकार नहीं, संविधान को अधिकार था। और आपने जो संविधान पारित किया था 2/3 से, और सभी राज्यों ने पारित किया था, द आउटर डेट फॉर एग्जिस्टेंस ऑफ एक्साइज ड्यूटी, वैट एंड सर्विस टैक्स वॉज 16 सितंबर 2017, and I saw an uninformed political advice being given, just postpone it. Postponement का मतलब ये है कि नया टैक्स लागू होता ना और पुराना टैक्स इकट्ठा करने का स्टेट और सेंटर का हक चला जाता, and there would be an Indian state without any taxation. But that was a complete charter for anarchy which was being suggested. That postpone it when there was a constitutional deadline of 16 September 2017. That was the hurry. So you had to meet the constitutional deadline which each one of you had approved. और इसलिए आज हर राज्य सरकार को यह कहा गया, और हर राज्य सरकार ने कहा कि पहले 5 साल में हमारा रेवेन्यू की एश्योरेंस दीजिए। केवल रेवेन्यू की एश्योरेंस नहीं दी, लेकिन 15-16 साल के ऊपर, 2015-16 के ऊपर 14% का इंक्रीज हर साल का मिलेगा राज्य को, यह भी एश्योरेंस दिया। सम स्टेट्स हैव फॉलन शॉर्ट इन द इनिशियल डेज। ईच स्टेट टिल टुडे इज बीइंग गिवन 14% इंक्रीज ट्वाइस ओवर 15-16 के बाद एक इंक्रीज 16-17 का, एक 17-18 का। और जिनका अपना रेवेन्यू 8%, 9% बढ़ता था, उनको 14% की कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल गारंटी है। और केरल के हमारे दोस्त कह रहे थे हमने सोचा था 25% हो जाएगा। तो 25% बढ़ाने पे तो आज भी आपके ऊपर कोई बैन नहीं है। अगर केरल अपना 25% बढ़ा ले तो फिर हमें कोई कॉम्पेंसेशन देना ही नहीं पड़ेगा उनको। तो वी आर नॉट सेइंग डोंट इंक्रीज इट। और अब अगली फेज में आपने कहा कि Moili Saab, you mentioned about Regda, we've discussed this in detail. Demonetization. Indeed, a difficult decision. It had its own disruptive impact. But now let us look back. The year prior to demonetization, India's growth was 7.1%. Has in the next year there been a 2% fall in the GDP? You took such monumental decisions. This year we are assumed to grow at about 6.7%. So the difference is 0.4. And this is also the impact of GST. And I'll tell you how GST impact is there. For one quarter, 1st July we implemented GST. We touched the lowest growth rate in that quarter, 5.7. Why? Because people stopped manufacturing in the previous quarter, knowing fully well that we want to come under the new taxation regime. They destocked, got rid of their existing stocks. So in that quarter, the service sector grew by over 8% and manufacturing grew by 1.5%. So that was the one quarter impact of the GST. Now that taken together, if it's a 0.4% of all these structural reforms, and then we are back to normal. And we are now seeing personal income tax base increasing, digitization increasing, and the impact of all other effects, tax evasion, quantum of taxes, all increasing itself.
Now, please, आपने भाषण हो गया. वो बैठ गए. हाँ बोलो.
This mammoth, monstrous, disruptive exercise, how much that money was recovered?
What is
We
it?
want a reply. The Reserve Bank said that the recovery was very little. That's all.
Madam, my learned friend will allow me because I want to finish early. I'm sorry, but I have to address my friends from Andhra also. The IBC, it has completely changed the way people are now to borrow from banks and do businesses. To every section, even in this budget, I took care of the middle class as I did in the earlier budgets. In every budget, I have had a chapter for the middle class and wanted to give them relief. Senior citizens, I gave relief, both in terms of avenues of investment, also in terms of tax concessions. Salaried class, I gave concessions. It's a major relief.
Please. Yes.
Madam, the total cost of relief to the salaried class is 8,000 crores. To the pensioners and senior citizens is 4,000 crores. Even in challenging times, to give a 12,000 crore relief was demanding, and yet I kept the tradition of the last 4 budgets. In this budget also I gave that relief. To the entire SME sector, small and medium enterprises, I reduced their tax rate by 5% up to 250 crores.
Now don't reply.
Madam, this now the medium industry is considered to be up to, under the new proposals of the government, up to 250 crores.
Yes.
An issue of price rise was raised. Supriya Sule ji raised it. अब वो भूल गए यूपीए में 11% और 12% इन्फ्लेशन होती थी. थोड़ी इन्फ्लेशन समाज में हमेशा होगी, इन्फ्लेशन नहीं होती तो फिर हम रिसेशन की तरफ भी जा सकते हैं, लेकिन सीमाओं के अंदर रहनी चाहिए. और इसलिए जो स्टैट्यूटरली फिक्स्ड इन्फ्लेशन है, जो टारगेट है, वो 4% ±2 है. और रिजर्व बैंक अपनी पॉलिसी के थ्रू उसको कायम रखने की कोशिश करता है. और अभी तक उस सीमा के अंदर हम रहे हैं. अधिकतर वर्ष 4% से कम थे, आज 4% तो थोड़ा सा ज्यादा. ये तो भविष्य की प्रेडिक्शन, वो भी 6 से कम है, लेकिन आप जिस सरकार का अंग थे वहां 11% आप क्रॉस कर गए थे। यूपीए में डबल डिजिट इन्फ्लेशन का युग था। आपने डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट की बात की और एक तर्क दिया गया कि केवल मुसीबत में कीजिए। मैडम, जो क्षेत्र स्ट्रैटेजिक हैं वो सरकार के पास रहेंगे, जो स्ट्रैटेजिक नहीं है वो सरकार के पास रहे और सरकार टैक्स पेयर का पैसा। यहां हमारे मित्र बैठे हैं, ये कहते हैं कि आंध्रा की अपेक्षा है कि हमें साधन दीजिए। आज इन्हें साधन दें या किसी ऐसे व्यवसाय में लगा दे जो प्राइवेट सेक्टर कर सकता है और वहां पैसा खो दे। What is the government's priority? Should we be spending on the people in each state and fulfilling the demands of these people, or just spend money into losing businesses? The debt which our airline now with 15% market share left, the debt itself is 58,000 crores. And 58,000 crores, a fraction of this would have brought smiles on these faces.
Not a fraction.
Not a fact.
No. Jaidev is egging me for more. मैडम, मैंने पहली बार देखा कि कम से कम लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल गेन्स मत लगाइए, तृणमूल कांग्रेस भी ये कहने लग पड़ी। इसका इतिहास क्या है? आप प्रॉपर्टी खरीदिए, संपत्ति खरीदिए, उसको बेचिए। अगर बेचने में आपको प्रॉफिट होता है तो आपको 20% सब्जेक्ट टू इंडेक्सेशन आपको कैपिटल गेन देना पड़ता है। आप स्टॉक मार्केट में इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, 1 साल के भीतर आप बेच देते हैं, आपको प्रॉफिट होता है तो आप पे 15% टैक्स लग जाता है कैपिटल गेन्स का। लेकिन अगर आप 1 वर्ष से ज्यादा रखते हैं और फिर बेचते हैं तो वो टैक्स से मुक्त है। मैडम, एक वक्त था जब हमारी अर्थव्यवस्था कमजोर थी, यहीं से पैसा घूमकर मॉरिशस रूट से वापस आता था और हम लोग आके मूंद लेते थे क्योंकि साधन की जरूरत थी। साइप्रस से आता था, सिंगापुर से आता था। 2015-16 में हमने वो ट्रीटीज रीराइट कर दी।
आज हमारी जेटली जी 1 मिनट, 6 बज रही है। अगर सभा सहमत हो तो सभा की कार्रवाई इस चर्चा की समाप्ति तक बढ़ा देते हैं। थैंक यू। Yes.
Madam.
Yes, Jetli ji.
Yes, I'm coming. Just 2 more points and I'm coming.
Yes.
मैंने पिछले वर्ष के आंकड़े निकाले। The exempted income on this long-term earnings from the stock exchange, that is people who have invested and sell after 1 year, is 3,67,000 crores. Some out of these are small investors. So we said up to 1 lakh profit every year, no tax. Lekin the others are either large corporates, high net worth individuals, foreign financial institutions, or LLPs. So this was a tax exemption available to the wealthiest. And the income which was exempted last year was 3,67,000 crores. Now there was a time there may have been a rationale for exempting it to bring more money into the stock market. And therefore we thought that at a differential rate this year, if for short term the capital gain, the tax is 15%, 10% can be imposed. And we have imposed a 10% tax. Moily Saab said, oh, there's an upheaval in the stock market. The upheaval was also in the stock markets from Japan to Dow Jones in the US. For 3 or 4 days, I'm sure India's long-term capital gain didn't impact the Dow Jones index. These are global markets for global reasons. Madam, whether it is demonetization, it's GST, it is IBC, and these decisions, these are difficult decisions. That's the difference between the UPA and the NDA, that we know how to bite the bullet when decisions have to be taken. अब बड़ा आपने मौली साहब, your party was stigmatized when you were in government because of allegations of corruption. Therefore, now the new act is, let us manufacture an allegation of corruption against the NDA. So when you couldn't find anything, you said, please disclose the price of the Rafale deal. I am holding, madam, a set of replies given before this parliament when UPA was in power, when Shri Pranab Mukherjee was the defense minister, when Shri A.K. Antony was the defense minister, and every time the details of a defense purchase and the price were asked for. And the reason is this, that if you tomorrow say, you are buying a missile from this country, give us the breakup of the cost. So the breakup of the cost will tell you what is the weapon system on that missile. What are the specifics? So it is in larger interest of India's security that that price is never disclosed. That's responsible governance. And therefore, Moily Saab, you've been the law minister of this country, that these security pacts are an inherent part of these defense transactions, because when you disclose the details of that price, you can give an approximate price, but when you give the specific details, you are giving details of the weapon systems that you possess and the capacity of those weapon systems which you don't want to inform the enemy. Now, questions are asked. I have a question, 14/12/2005. Give the details of the fighting weapon system bought from the Americans and the details and the cost. And Mr. Pranab Mukherjee replies, details of government expenses on purchase of arms and weapon systems are classified in the nature, and it would not be in national interest to divulge them on the floor of the House. Yes. So please ask your party president who has raised this issue to kindly go back to Mr. Pranab Mukherjee and take certain lessons from him on national security. The question is again asked, is the government purchasing a long-range missile from Israel? Mr. A.K. Antony on 22/8/2007 says, divulging details in this regard to this House would not be in the interest of national security. And I have not one, I have 15 answers given during the UPA, where details of armament purchase, item-wise, cannot be given for the simple reason that these are not in larger interest to make public. Make public means known to the enemy as to what the specified weapon details on each one of the defense equipments is. And suddenly, when you find that you were pasted with allegations of corruption all over, and Mr. Modi has run a clean government for the last 4 years, so let us manufacture a crisis. Let us manufacture an issue. And a manufactured issue is, oh, you please tell me the details of the Rafale deal.
Would the Honourable Minister give one? Thank you, sir. I don't think anybody on this side of the House is seeking any national security
details. Does that anybody include your party president?
Missiles, involving weapons.
Does that anybody also include your party president?
Yes.
Who manufactured this issue falsely at the cost of national security?
Honourable Minister should understand our question. Honourable Minister, the question is, you are accountable to Parliament for the expenses of this government, and we are asking for an overall cost and a unit cost without specifying any details. That is what we have been asking. That is what the party president has been asking.
We are as much accountable to this Parliament. We are as much accountable to Parliament as much as the UPA government was. And therefore, there is a set of systems. There is a set of systems which we have followed consistently.
Now, this is
price. Now you are purchasing 1,600 crores. That is the difference. We are asking.
Now, yes, continue, please. You need not answer everybody. They have got a chance to speak. No.
Let me come to my
yes, please.
Friends from Andhra Pradesh.
Please.
Madam, we in the...
Please. Yes. Please. It means... If he is yielding, I have no objection. If he is yielding, I have no objection. You want to?
Let me complete, madam.
Okay.
After
You
I
are
speak,
not
they can
yielding
always
to
ask a
Rahul
question.
ji. Yes. Please.
My charge is that they are seriously compromising India's security by insisting on this being made a public issue.
Yes. Now continue. He is not yielding. I can't. I'm sorry. He has answered. You don't want to hear for Andhra Pradesh. That is the thing. Yes.
Let me speak on Andhra. I am coming to... Madam, I want to assure my friends from Andhra.
Yesterday also they disturbed. He is not yielding. I can't. Please. बैठिए ऐसा नहीं होता है कल भी आपने यही किया If he is not yielding, how can I can't help it? उन्होंने सबके आंसर दिए No, this is not the way. I'm sorry. Yes. पहले तो अपनी जगह यहाँ से Yes, Arun.
Madam, I now want to take up the issue of Andhra Pradesh.
Yes.
They can't hear. They want to hear.
After this, he's not hearing. He's not yielding. I can't help it.
Madam, they've had their say. Now they must learn to listen also.
Yes.
इन्होंने अपनी बात कह ली, अब हमें अपनी बात कहने दीजिए। आंध्र प्रदेश के विषय को लेकर मैं बयान देना चाहता हूं डिटेल में।
Yes.
Madam, no name was taken. No name. They are saying they have mentioned my name, but no name was taken by finance minister. No, कोई नाम नहीं लिया उन्होंने। उन्होंने प्रेसिडेंट बोला है ना, नाम नहीं लिया। अलग बात है।
Jetli ji. No rule. What is it? No rule, no rule. काय कर रही?
Personal explanation.
No question before the House.
With the permission of Speaker.
Member may, with the permission of the Speaker, make a personal explanation, although there is no question before the House. No debatable matter may be brought forward.
कुछ नहीं है.
What is it? इसमें कुछ नहीं है. No, no. I saw the rule. No rule. Yes. What is it?
A member may, with the permission of the Speaker,
Yes,
make
so?
a personal explanation,
What
although
personal?
there is no question before the House.
So?
But in this case, no debatable matter may be brought forward. Now,
What
the
debatable?
Finance Minister referred to the Congress President when he was replying to Mr. Shashi Tharoor. He has a right under 357 to make a personal explanation. He has a right, and this is the minimum you should allow. Let him make, even if no name was mentioned, it is clear that who he was referring to. He was referring to the Congress President. He should be allowed to put a personal explanation. Allow him that.
What personal explanation?
357. Allow him a personal explanation. You must.
He has answered Shashi Tharoor's question.
No question. You allow him to make a personal explanation. You allow him to make a personal explanation. He has a right to make a personal explanation. He is a member of this House. He has a right to make a personal explanation. Madam, please, under 357, please allow him to make a personal explanation. I do not belong to his party, but I belong to this House, and the conventions of this House must be adhered to. If he has been referred to, he has a right to make a personal explanation.
If he is yielding to it, then only I can answer. No, it is not like that.
Anant ji.
Yes.
Unnecessarily, there are disruptions while our Honorable Finance Minister was speaking and replying. Please allow him to continue his reply, madam.
I am allowing
Honorable Finance Minister. Honorable Finance Minister. Let him continue the reply, madam. Arunji.
Yes. What is it? What is it?
Madam, Mr. Moily had raised the issue of Rafale.
Yes.
I was therefore duty bound to respond to it.
Yes.
I mentioned the stand which he and his party have taken, and therefore there is no reason why my speech should be interrupted in the middle.
He may continue, madam. He can continue.
So you continue now. You continue. I am asking you to continue then.
Madam, as far as the issue my honorable friends from Andhra Pradesh have been agitating for the last few days, when the state of Andhra Pradesh was created by a bifurcation, some of us had actually fought for the rights of people of Andhra, even when we had supported the creation of Telangana, that Andhra was going to be economically at a disadvantage. And therefore, a particular package was promised to the people of Andhra Pradesh in the Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act. Now the package involved several aspects, many of which have been implemented. Some of them, the work is in progress. Now, for example, you can stand here and listen. I'm shouting. I've been running fever, so that is how I'm not able to shout. Madam, we have given so far we have given funds as promised for a large number of institutions which are being created, because most of the institutions went into the Telangana area. Therefore, Andhra Pradesh is entitled to those institutions. Funds have been given and funds will continue to be given for establishment of all the institutions which are mentioned. When the institution is created, as it is being built up, funds keep on being given. Second, as far as creation of capital is concerned, we have made some payments on account of capital. We have made payments for the backward districts. For Polavaram also, through NABARD, 4,500 crores has already been paid, and we have undertaken that substantial part of that expenditure on Polavaram will be undertaken as far as the center is concerned. Monies are being given. Now there are two areas which were being worked out. The first was the amount in lieu of the special package. Now the state had wanted that money to come by way of externally aided projects. Last month on the 3rd of January, since that is a time-consuming process, the Honorable Chief Minister wrote to me saying that this should be given through NABARD. We have worked out an arrangement yesterday in the meeting, which officers of the state have gone back to take a confirmation whether the arrangement they have come to yesterday with the expenditure department is acceptable to the state or not. Some arrangement has been worked out between them. We will try and expedite that as soon as we get consent of the state government. That meeting was held yesterday itself. As far as revenue deficit is concerned, there is another proposal which has been made. The state officers have again gone back. They are expecting something more. We are trying to narrow that gap and bridge that gap. The only, and I am quite sure that these two would be worked out in the course of the next couple of days. The only area is some other institutions like some railways and petroleum, etc. We are already in discussion with various ministries. Our friends from Andhra Pradesh also are in discussion, and we are trying to find out the best solution which is possible, which to the satisfaction of my friends from Andhra Pradesh, we will try and do it extremely early. We are extremely sympathetic to the people of Andhra, and therefore would look into each one of these issues extremely sympathetically.
रिप्लाई खत्म हो गया मैडम, आप खत्म करिए। नहीं, खत्म करिए आप, बहुत बढ़िया हो गया। अटेंड करिए मैडम, हो गया। इनको वापस भेजिए, वापस भेजे तो।
The House stands adjourned to meet again on Friday, the 9th February 2018 at 11 a.m.